So generally, during these demo sessions, I usually take like a small demo class about explaining some of the concepts of Workday. But looking at this group here, it looks like all of you already have some background around what Workday is, since all of you come from already experience. You all come from an ERP background, or you already have some experience. So I don't think I need to discuss much about specifically about Workday. So what I'll do is this particular discussion we can focus around answering your
Hey,
questions. Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I don't have any experience on Workday or any of these systems.
All
I've
right.
been working with it. Yeah.
That's
Just
fine.
wanted to say that. Sorry about
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. So I want to use this particular session to clarify any questions around how this course is going to be. If you have any questions around the job prospects, or what are the different modules, and if you also want to understand what will be your career path, um, or we can discuss those questions during this particular session. So it is just going to be a 30-minute session where I'm going to discuss these things. Otherwise, from a training perspective, I have been giving trainings from a very long time. I've been doing Workday from last 10 years, so this is my bread and butter. So I can provide a good training, but then I want to also understand your expectations from this training so that we can set that expectations right as well. Yeah, so I'm open for questions. Anyone who wants to ask me any questions regarding this course or how it's going to be, I'm very glad for that.
Hey Nikhil, I would like to ask
Sure.
a
Yeah.
question, brief question,
Yeah.
so about Workday HCM. So as a fresher, I
Mm.
just finished my master's. So how would you give a brief introduction about Workday HCM? Or, I mean, I did my research, but however, I want to know from a
Oh,
trainer's perspective.
you want to understand what exactly is Workday HCM?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. So Workday is an ERP tool. So it's a cloud ERP. You do you know what is an ERP? Enterprise
Yeah.
Resource Planning Software. So every
Yes.
company will have certain softwares with which they will use. It is used for handling their internal operations, and Workday is an HR and finance cloud system. So it's a configurable system, meaning you don't have to be a coder to start using Workday. You just need
Yeah.
to. So this system is already available, meaning it's like a lot of options are available. You just have to start configuring it, like how you have your operating system, right? You have when
Mm-hmm.
you buy a laptop, it comes, most laptops comes preloaded with Windows. Now you can directly start using Windows, and you can start installing softwares. You can configure the settings. Workday is also similar to that. However, Workday is a very specific software for managing your employees. So from the time you hire an employee till the time you fire the employee, the entire life cycle of the employee, you can manage within Workday. And then there are different modules within Workday. So HCM is like the core module, Human Capital Management, where you will the entire setup data, most of the setup data, which is absolutely required by every single client whosoever is going to implement Workday. So that is the HR HCM. So everyone who is going to get into Workday should and must start with the HCM, because that is the foundation and the core module. There are different modules like recruitment, time and absence, talent management, compensation, advanced compensation, reporting, advanced reporting. We also have integrations and a lot of other modules, performance management. So a lot of other modules are there in Workday. It depends upon which module the client want to use or don't want to use, because not every client will have every requirement. Some clients just want a very basic system. So, but regardless of which what they need or what they don't need, every single client will have to implement the HCM model, which is the foundational core module of the Workday. Um, so that's like a brief about what exactly Workday is. So it's an ERP system. And coming to why Workday is currently so hot in the market is, For one thing, it's a cloud ERP and it's a pretty good cloud HR system. And a lot of Fortune 500 companies have implemented Workday. A lot more companies are implementing Workday. So Workday is a system that that was initially that when it started, it was specifically targeting small and medium-sized companies, and it is a cloud HR system, meaning before Workday, before this cloud revolution started, most companies used to have in on-premise system, meaning whenever they want to, let's say they just started, they're just 1,000 employee company, but they want to implement an ERP system. What they had to do was they had to purchase servers, big servers. They should have a separate server room. They have to first configure those servers and then maintain or implement an ERP in those servers. At any point, if now there are 1,000 employees, tomorrow they became like a very big conglomerate and they have like 150,000 employees, then they have to again purchase additional servers. So traditionally it used to be an on-premise system. Now with cloud, you don't have to worry about these things. I mean, everything is on cloud. Like you can access Workday from anywhere just using your laptop with a browser. So just all you need is an internet connectivity, and like how you access Facebook or how you access your Gmail account. Similarly, you can access Workday using an ID and password, and you can maintain your entire HR operations and everything. You can hire employees, you can maintain their data, you can promote, transfer, all the entire life cycle of the employee you can manage within Workday, including running the payroll and finance. So Workday got really popular, and specifically because of the functionalities and the UI of Workday is very intuitive, meaning the employees, whomsoever the users who are using Workday, they really like using Workday because the UI is great. It is very simple. Anyone can easily start using and start adopting Workday. So it became really popular like that. A lot of big companies started implementing. Now, with a lot of companies implementing, there is a lot of demand for people who can support it. Because once the implementation is done, there should be people who should be able to support the ongoing business as usual operations. And Workday, in general, is a closed environment. So when I say closed environment, meaning to get started with Workday initially, there used to be a certification which you have to first complete, and then you can only work as a Workday consultant. Now it is not the case. However, there are a lot of companies who are implemented, but the number of resources who have good experience in Workday are less. So there is always like it's a supply demand thing. Like there is a 1:4 ratio, meaning for 4 jobs there is just one consultant available. So it's an employee market for Workday consultants, and that's the reason you might be seeing there's a lot of talk and um, a lot of scope in this particular technology right now. A lot of that's why I think, and I'm sure all of you have already gone through some of these, and that's why you have chosen to start learning and take this particular step of learning Workday. I hope I
Yes,
answered
Nikhil,
that question.
absolutely. Yes, yes. You answered it perfectly. I mean, there are certain areas which I was not aware, and they have been addressed too. Thank you.
Nikhil, I have a question. So, like you mentioned, the route maybe like after this training
Mm,
for an individual could be to become a Workday consultant.
mm,
But I would want to understand, so someone who hasn't worked on Workday project,
mm,
how is the curriculum going to help? Like even if you're helping us with, some job support or resume building,
mm.
how will we be able to get a job without any prior experience?
Yeah. So the thing is, right now the market is such that companies are looking for consultants who understand Workday at least. Because they need people who should be supporting Workday. If you just go to LinkedIn and just type for Workday jobs, I see at least 100, in India when I type it, at least I see 150 pages of jobs. So there are so many opportunities out there. Now coming to your question, my training here will be focused on the fundamentals and the foundation. So I believe that if you have the foundational knowledge built correctly, so if your foundation is right, you should be able to easily pick up the system, because Workday is not as difficult. Uh, it's not very technical, because you don't have to do any kind of coding. It's all configurable. Whatever you want to configure in Workday is already within Workday. If there is something that is not possible in Workday, then there is nothing that you can do to do it. Only Workday can, maybe release a new feature in Workday, and only then that is possible. So whatever you can do is within the Workday. It's just for you to understand what are the possibilities, and again how creative you are. You know, how creative you are in gathering the requirements. How creative you are in understanding the client's requirements, and then configure the system. So when I am hiring anyone, specifically when I'm looking at someone who is a fresher, the qualities that I look at it is, one is the communication skills, because communication skills, the reason I look at it and give it more importance is because you will be working with the client at a very very closely, meaning you will be having like a regular meetings with them at least 3 or 4 times a week, because they will be the person who will be giving you the requirements, and client necessarily might not understand Workday from a configuration perspective, but they know what they want out of Workday. So it's again up to you to understand and gather that requirements from the client correctly, and understand what exactly is their requirement. So for that, communication skills is important. Secondly, having a good foundational knowledge. So this training, I will focus specifically on giving you that foundation knowledge on everything. So if the foundation is well, you will be able to pick up pretty fast. I have worked with fresh graduates just out of college who just got the Workday training, and in a matter of 2-3 months they have been delivering phenomenal work. So I believe it's not that difficult for anyone to. I mean, if someone can do it, then everyone can do it. It's just about how sharp you are and how focused you are at picking up that foundations when I'm teaching it. But then, yeah, for a fresher, it is still possible for a fresher to get a job into Workday. I will help you with, like I said, the resume preparation. I will help you with that. I'll help you prepare for what kind of questions. And during the training, I will let you know that, okay, so these are the real time scenarios that I experienced. So you might be asked questions. Uh, so every topic that I teach, they might ask you questions around these topics. So I will give you all that help and all that support. But then, clearing the interview is again up to you. But then there are opportunities even for freshers in Workday. Yeah. So I'm sure it's not as difficult, or there's nothing to worry about. You can get jobs in Workday even if you're a fresher. Because again, the supply demand. There is a lot of demand and very few consultants in the market.
Yeah, but usually, like, the job posts that I have seen recently, they've always been that they're looking for some experience, like almost 5+ years of experience of implementation experience in Workday.
Most
So,
people, and I'll be very honest with you, what most people do is, someone who takes training, they will say that they have about 2 to 3 years of experience in Workday, and then they start giving interviews, and that's what most people do. I'll just be honest with you.
okay. And then like the curriculum, I was like going over it. So would this curriculum just cover what the HCM module, or would
Yes,
you also touch
only HCM.
based
No,
on
no.
like
Uh,
compensation?
so HCM module, since it's like a core foundation module, it touches upon everything, but not in the depth. So the thing is, you might have seen HCM and a bit of compensation, a bit of security here. And the reason is, uh, every client, when they implement Workday, they have to implement HCM and compensation. If they even don't want to use compensation, they have to at least implement the framework for compensation. So HCM and compensation are like the absolute necessary modules in Workday. And most clients, like 99% of the clients, they use both HCM as well as the compensation module, at least the basic framework they have to use in Workday. So I will be teaching you both HCM. I will be teaching you the foundation knowledge in both HCM and compensation. Even in compensation, I will teach you the framework and the foundational of compensation, but I will not be getting into the advanced compensation. So for those advanced compensation, advanced reporting, those modules, there are separate sessions which will be conducted, which you can separately register for.
Okay, so the reporting which is mentioned in the curriculum is just basic reporting. It's not.
Yes, it's basic reporting. The thing is, for you to understand reporting, you need to have HCM knowledge. I cannot directly start teaching you reporting, and even if I do, you will not understand. So for you to understand reporting, you have to first have an HCM knowledge, and then you will only then. So anyone who wants to take advanced classes in Workday, they have to first finish this foundation training, because without foundation, you cannot get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi Nikhil, this is
Yeah.
Pratham.
That is enough.
So do you also have advanced classes after this course? Yeah.
Yeah, it depends upon. So most of the sessions that I take are the foundation HCM. However, if there is an advance, if there are enough sign up, so it depends. You can check with the ZaranTech. They will organize those sessions, and if you want me to teach, I can teach the session. So generally, I can teach. I usually teach HCM, core compensation, advanced compensation. I teach advanced reporting. I teach Workday recruitment. So these are the modules that I generally teach, specifically as a trainer. So any one of these modules, you can sign up if you want to learn post this session, post this training program.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Any other questions about the course or the prospect?
Hi, I had a question. So, sorry, just internet. So, what is your day-to-day responsibilities or work look like for a HCM consultant?
Well, it depends upon a few things. Like it depends also upon the type of role that you're joining. So for someone like me at an architect level, I usually work on projects where I'm leading the projects. Also, I work as an architect where I lead multiple enhancements. So the thing is, Workday, and this is another reason why Workday is so popular. Workday has semi-annual releases, meaning twice in a year they release new updates, they release new features, new upgrades to the existing system. So every year, twice, there are a lot of features that are newly introduced by Workday, and clients would like to adopt it. And this is one of the other reason why Workday is very popular, meaning these upgrades. So once you implement Workday, Workday will automatically start updating your systems. And because of these new updates and upgrades and new features that are delivered by Workday, there is always a scope of enhancements, and client will like to adopt these new features. Nowadays, Workday has been doing a lot of updates around artificial intelligence. So, you know, a lot of these new features, there is always. So for someone like me at a lead level, I usually be working, leading the projects, and doing a lot of enhancement work. But for a usual consultant on a day-to-day basis, there are two types of consultants. Two types of projects. One is a implementation project. Another project is an AMS project. We generally call it as AMS within the market, which is called as application management services. So implementation is when the client is freshly implementing Workday, meaning the client is currently not using Workday, they want to start using Workday. So there will be an implementation. So in a fresh implementation, you will be working as an implementation consultant in that regard. So you will be helping clients understand what is the requirement. You will give them a demo of the tenant, then you will take the requirements, and then you will configure the system for the client, and then you will go live. Once the client goes live with Workday, then then AMS will come. So now again, application management services, meaning how you are current. Maybe most of you are already maybe aware of this particular term, but for those who are not aware, once the system goes live, now there are day-to-day operations that need to be supported. So if there is any changes that needs to be done, or if the client wants to add an additional module. So initially they did not go live with Workday recruitment. After maybe 3 to 4 years, they see that, hey, maybe we can also start using Workday's recruitment module along with. So they don't want to use their existing whatever system they are using. They want to use Workday and integrate it, because having everything in one system is always beneficial. So they want to do that. So that can also become like a phase X project. So you'll be working on that implementation as well. Once it is implemented, if there is any changes, any enhancements or any updates, so that support activity, you will be working as that support consultant. So these will be the day-to-day activities. Generally, it will be like, the client logs in tickets. If you're working as an AMS consultant, client logs tickets. You'll be looking at those tickets, working on those tickets. So this is how the day-to-day responsibilities look like for a consultant.
Then in a project, do you have the BS requirement gathering, or is it something like the HCM consultant will do?
Can you repeat that question?
Generally, in a project, the HCM consultant will be working as a BA, or do you have HCM BAs as the project to roll out?
Again, so business analyst is a term that is very what do we say, generally reduced. Someone will use a term called business analyst very vaguely. Some people use it for very junior. Some companies use business analyst for like the absolute top people, like they do the analysis, like business analysis. But from a perspective of, generally, someone who is working as an HCM consultant will be handling, HCM tickets, most of the HCM tickets. And if you are going to be specifically, so there will be different for one. There will be a consultant for HCM. There will be a consultant for recruiting. So it is not necessary, or it's not mandatory that you should be knowing all the modules in Workday. If you take me, even after 10 years, I don't know all the modules in Workday. Like, I don't know payroll. I'm not very strong in time and absence. I mean, I know time and absence, how it works, since it's been 10 years. So I have come across a few config. I have seen it. So I know some basics and I can still work with it. But if you ask me to take a session on time tracking, I'm not that confident, because so that's the thing. I mean, there will be few modules which you are currently supporting, and you are expected to support those specific modules only. So if you are going as an HCM consultant, you will be given work related to HCM only, and not related to some other module which you don't have any knowledge on. And that is an expectation as well. You are not expected to know everything, because
I'll interrupt you. Nikhil, in case if I want to go to payroll, like, how does that work in case if I want to shift to payroll?
Yeah. Okay. So you are from US, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So you can shift to payroll. You can, if you do you have a background on payroll to begin with?
So no, actually, I used to work as a QA engineer, and I took a break. I got laid off. And
okay. Now I'll tell you. Let me give you specifically about Workday payroll. And Workday payroll is a niche, and payroll in itself is a niche. Like, you won't find a lot of payroll consultants. But the reason Workday payroll is niche in the sense, Workday currently only supports payroll for 5 countries, it used to be supporting only 4 countries. This year they started supporting Australia as well. So they just support US, UK, and US, UK, Canada, Spain, and now they support Australia. So these are the only 5 countries for which Workday has payroll support. Now the problem with this is, a lot of companies, especially those who are global, they have employees in multiple countries, and most clients, they would prefer a single unified system for payroll. So they don't want to use Workday for just a few countries, and then for different third-party integrations with Workday for like ADP payroll for the rest of the countries. So because of that, there are comparatively very few organizations that use Workday payroll. So if you get a job as a Workday payroll consultant, great, because you will be paid really well. The reason is you will also not find a lot of Workday payroll consultants. If you ask me to give you an HCM consultant, I can find a lot of HCM consultants. If you ask me for a compensation or recruitment consultant, I can still find a lot of consultants. But if you ask me for a good finance and payroll consultant, I will really have to search, because you will find very less folks in that particular module, and also less jobs in that module as well. So the scope is also less, and hence overall it is a very niche. And so if you are really interested in that particular area, you should pursue it, because since you stay in the US, there might be opportunities even within that, because you are in the US, and there might be opportunities there. However, that is the scenario, right? It is niche. You will see comparatively less jobs because of this limitation within the workday. So most companies, what they do, they integrate with third-party systems, and that's how most of the companies. And I've seen companies who are using Workday payroll. It's not like they don't. However, Workday has no plans. I mean, it's been very long time since Workday has started, like 2008, and still they just have 5 countries that they support. So that's the thing about payroll.
So, if we have to, if we want to go into payroll or finance, do we have to have the knowledge of payroll outside? Do we have to have a knowledge of complete how the payroll works, and just like the payroll agents will be there, right? Or
Yeah. I mean,
do we need to have that
yeah,
knowledge?
you should. Yeah, because see, payroll also requires you to know some legislative. Like if you take US payroll, US taxation. I mean, since you always stay in US, they have a very different type of taxation, right? The different states have different taxation laws. There is the legally taxation there. So it's very different way US payroll is implemented. So it definitely helps you having a knowledge, a domain knowledge on payroll, and mostly that's how, even in the industry, very rarely you'll find someone who directly got started to work their payroll. I mean, definitely there are people who get started with payroll and understand it. It's not something that you cannot learn. However, having a domain knowledge definitely helps, because payroll require, I mean, it's like what, I mean, you will run payroll and there is a lot of numbers you need, and you will see certain calculations. Now you need to understand how it is getting calculated, why that particular deduction is happening. If you have some understanding about the taxation, and you will be in a better position to troubleshoot those issues. So that's about it. And again, payroll, it's not the most easiest module to crack. That's my opinion. So if you're up for it, go for it.
I'm up for it, but only thing is there's nobody like teaching this module.
Right. Yeah, that's what. Right, getting that's what. That's the reason. I mean, if you crack a job in Workday payroll, they do pay really well, and I have seen people who get hired directly from India as well as a payroll consultant to the US. That very rarely happens in recent times. That someone getting a job directly from India and moving to US. So I mean, it's not like it doesn't happen, but in this particular space, especially in Workday space, so I have seen people who got a job directly in a company. I mean, they are hiring from India directly and giving them the sponsorship for H1, because uh, there are very less people in the market who can do that. So if you search for someone, if ZaranTech is providing training, go for it. But then payroll, just having the training knowledge might not completely prepare you for that job. You might also need additional mentorship in payroll.
So having like for HCM, it's okay, right?
Yeah, for HCM it should be. Yeah, HCM is okay.
Whatever.
The reason is payroll is pretty. It requires you to have some domain knowledge. It also requires you, because see, there are a lot of there might be some issues which not every single problem can be when the payroll results get generated, for you to understand And again, I'm not the best person to talk about payroll, since I don't know payroll completely. So I'm not I might not be explaining it to you well, but again, you find someone who can help you with payroll, and then they should be in a better position to teach you or mentor you in payroll. But then again, it's a niche module. That's what I know. I have friends who do Workday payroll, and I tried to learn Workday payroll. It's not like I have not tried. But again, it requires more than just training. So you need to have some help. At least for the initial stages, you need someone to look after you when you are configuring the systems.
Hey, Ritik, quick question. Based on what you said, so would it be, is HCM core module good enough for us to land a job, or would we need to have any other modules that needs to be known as well? And if so,
Um,
what are the modules that needs to be that are
all right.
high?
Oh, yeah, sure. Good question. HCM again. HCM is a good module to get started. However, since uh, it, everyone knows HCM, so HCM, like if you are a Workday consultant, HCM, having a knowledge in HCM module is absolute basic. Like it is expected of you. You cannot say that I don't know HCM module. Now, if you go and search for Workday jobs, you might be seeing most of the jobs might require you to have HCM and one additional module. So it's always good to have HCM and an additional module that will improve your chances of getting a role into Workday. Also, you have when you are focusing on a specific advanced module, you can specifically learn the configurations and the functionalities around that module. HCM is very vast. I mean, I can there are a lot of new features that keeps on getting added into HCM, and if you ask me, even I don't know everything in HCM. But it is not very difficult. So it is something that you can figure out. You have Workday Community Access where you have the Workday's documentation, and when you start working as a consultant, you will get access to that particular community. So any kind of documentation like Workday documentation you need around understanding how to configure things, you can easily find it there. And it's same for all the other modules as well, including payroll. The thing is, having an additional advanced module knowledge is definitely helpful, but having HCM knowledge is also good enough for you to get started into Workday.
And what are the modules that are hot right now?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the modules which are mostly implemented by clients. HCM, of course, because it is a foundation. HCM and compensation. So having HCM and core compensation modules will definitely increase your chances. And another module will be Workday recruitment. Workday recruitment is pretty good, and nowadays there are a lot of new enhancements that Workday has been releasing around Workday recruitment. They are heavily investing in recruitment space. Recently, they have announced that they are acquiring hired source. So it's like they are using a lot of AI within the recruitment space. So recruitment is also a very good module, especially companies that have a lot of employees, like big companies with more than 100,000. So those who have like a big hiring requirements all the time, they're like always hiring. Those kind of companies, you will get good opportunities, especially within the recruitment space. So HCM is good, core compensation is good, advanced compensation is also very good. So advanced compensation is specifically related to annual reviews and cycles. So every year you have these annual reviews, performance reviews, and the merit cycles, right? You will be getting an increment in your salaries. You will be getting bonuses paid. The variable bonus is paid. You'll be getting stock units, commissions paid. So all that you will handle using the advanced compensation. So some clients use Workday for that, and a lot of clients actually use Workday for their advanced compensation. So advanced compensation is very sorted out module there. Reporting is one of the very good modules. and having this is the every module, every company, every project will require at least one person who knows reporting, because um, every company will want to do reporting. Without reporting, how will you know what is happening, right? So every company will have a lot of reports, and they will be creating new reports. So having reporting knowledge, even if you are not a reporting consultant, is absolutely very beneficial for you, because when you are especially working on a AMS project, if you have good knowledge in reporting, it will really help you with a lot of configurations, especially within the business processes, and creating calculated fields in Workday. Having being a reporting consultant will definitely increase your um, employability, I would say.
Nikhil,
I
what are the other, sorry to interrupt you, what
Sure.
are the other skills required for reporting? Do we need to know any reporting tools other
No,
than
no, no, no.
the,
Like I said, everything that you do in Workday is within Workday. Whatever you configure, whatever you have to learn in Workday is already there in Workday. You don't have to reinvent or invent anything new. It's all about, uh, like, think of yourself as like a puzzle. You see this, there is this puzzles, right? I mean, you have like, different pieces. You should know how to find the right piece that lock together. Workday is like that. If you have the foundational knowledge, you can, and reporting will require you to also have some logic out as well, and also understanding of the overall Workday's architecture. So again, reporting is one module that has a bit of a steep learning curve compared to other modules, because HCM I can teach you now, you will understand it immediately. Reporting is something that when I'm teaching, if I'm teaching reporting, you will find it very fascinating and very interesting. But when you start doing it by yourself, you will find that you struggle initially a bit. It is like learning how to pedal a cycle, or learning how to swim. Yeah, Inzama, I'll come to you. It is like learning how to swim. Once you do it by yourself, then you will get the knack around how to do those calc skills. But it's a very interesting module, and I really enjoy working in reporting. I still work a lot in reporting. I've created a lot of reports in Workday. It's a very good module uh, if you have a good reporting background. It is very beneficial for you, even if you are working as an HCM consultant. Yes, Inzamam?
Sorry, Nikhil, just wanted to get that information. So you said everything you do is under the, is part of HCM or is part of Workday, right?
Yes.
So when you said that, do you mean for reporting also you'll have ad hoc reporting, everything is on top of HCM layer, or do you need SQL as well?
So that's what you can, if you have reporting, if you understand how reporting works in Workday, you can work on any reporting module. I mean, any modules reporting. You
Got
can
it.
do finance reporting, you can do recruitment reporting. It's so reporting, again, how Workday's objects and data is structured. That's, yeah, you need to understand,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
how to play around with the data, how to transform the data in a way, and how to extract the data, how to extract the right data. So then there are, I will give you, as part of this curriculum, I will be giving you some foundation around reporting as well, but I will not be getting a lot deep into reporting. So but then you will get a gist of what exactly I'm referring to when I'll be teaching those things.
Makes sense. Thanks. And also, I have a question regarding the training method. So, is it like a, learn as you do program, or because you said it's mostly on the configuration side, right? So, do we get a chance to like copy or shadow the work that we're doing, or you have some exercises that we can do to,
Yeah,
benchmark?
yes, we do have exercises as well. So ZaranTech has a lot of exercises created, which you can, you'll be given an access to an LMS system where you will see the course curriculum and the presentations. I usually don't use presentations, because I usually get into a system and start teaching you. But
Okay.
then you will be having access to exercises. I will also give you exercises. I have created some exercises for my previous sessions that I took. so I can use those and give it to you. You'll be given access to a training tenant, which you can use to practice. So yeah, it is learn as you go, and it is again whatever I teach and I go. But it's up to you to learn and ask me the questions, because I'll be there for like maybe what, a month or a month, 30 days or 35, 40 days maximum. But in that 40 days, whatever I teach, it's up to you to go and revise it, ask me questions, and ask me the right questions so that you can get the maximum out of me.
Yeah. When you say LLM, what is that? Sorry, I'm new to the jargon.
LLM? What LLM?
Yeah. You said there's a trading tenant.
Hello guys, let me share my screen. I'll show how our LMS will work. Okay.
LMS, sorry.
Yeah. So this is how our LMS will look like. Okay. This is the home page.
Irfan, one second, Irfan. Before you started, is there any other questions? If there is no other questions, I will drop off. Then Irfan will give you.
I do have a question.
Yes,
This
please.
is Asha. So I wanted to know if will we get like a real-time example to work on, like as in would we do an end-to-end project on it to configure Workday? Would you give something like that to us?
I will give you. So I cannot give you an entire project, but I will give you exercises on every single topic that I teach. And you can practice those exercises. You can do what I'll be doing when I'm configuring and teaching you, but you can mirror that. An end-to-end project, I am not sure if I have one, but because an end-to-end project, meaning in HCM part, in HCM space, I can definitely give you a lot of every single topic that I teach. I can give you exercises which you can practice. But I don't think we have like an end-to-end project that real-time scenarios. Yes, I will discuss some real-time scenarios. So whenever I'm teaching things, whatever I have done in that particular regard, what kind of cases that I get, what kind of a conflict that I've done in real time, how what kind of request you will get in real time, those kind of things I will definitely teach you, and I will discuss those things. But I cannot give you an end-to-end project. I
Okay,
think
so
ZaranTech
I,
is
I
developed.
asked that because in the curriculum when it mentions implementation strategy, so what is that about then?
In curriculum, it mentions implementation strategy. Irfan, can you show me where it mentions that?
Like it says unit 4,
Unit 4.
implementation.
Implementation methodology. So that is not. So this is like the methodology, like how a project, what are the different phases of the project, and this is like a methodology, not an entire project in itself. So I will be talking about a general Workday implementation, how that implementation progresses. So during the how you initiate the discussions and what are the different phases of that implementation, most clients will be using the same way of implementing. So that I will definitely be discussing, but this is not the entire project in itself.
Okay. And then do we learn about the I learn module in here? Or no?
I learned. I don't know what module is that. Where did you see it?
I saw it in some other curriculum, like some other company's curriculum. So,
I learn. I'm hearing that term for the very first time. Maybe you are misspelling something, but
um,
are you saying I loads?
oh yeah, sorry, I load. Yeah.
No, I won't be teaching you iLoad. I'll be giving you a overview of EIBs, but not iLoads. iLoad, even if I want to teach, I cannot teach because I will not have access
Okay.
to that. Uh,
Okay.
those those tools you will only have access when you are an implementer. So I won't be teaching you iLoad specifically, but I will be giving you EIBs, and EIBs is very similar to iLoads. Like how you use iLoad is very similar to EIB. It's just both are used for bulk loading of data. So
Okay, so we will learn about integrations in this.
inbound integration, inbound integrations only,
Okay.
not outbound.
By outbound, you mean like to a third party system?
Yeah, I won't be. I won't be doing. I won't be teaching you outbound. There will be a separate. I think a separate course entirely on integrations if you want to sign up for that. And that requires you to have that will be a bit technical. So
Okay.
there are two types of consultants again in Workday. One is functional and one is integration. Integration consultants will always deal with integrating Workday with third-party systems, and they use outbound integrations. Inbound integrations is used by the functional consultant as yourself when you start working. So I'll
So,
be giving you that inbound integration. So that will something that you put it into Workday. Next, from an outside system, if you send data into Workday, that is an inbound integration. So I will show you how to do those integrations, but I don't
okay.
teach outbound. I personally don't even do outbound. I have never worked on outbound integrations even. So
Okay.
So,
So,
this
so for this inbound and outbound integration,
mm,
do we need technical background, like as
no,
in like do we need to know coding?
for inbound you don't need. For outbound, I think so. I mean, at least you should know how to triage and how to. I mean, you should be having knowledge on it, XML. You should understand XML language. That is for outbound. You don't. If you are not an integration specific consultant, you are not expected to have that knowledge.
so
Somebody else was
Nikhil,
asking, Prasanna.
yeah, yeah. Sorry to interrupt again. So, this course is not techno-functional.
No,
Um,
no.
so this is only functional course.
This is only functional, and I'm only a functional consultant. I myself don't do
No,
any kind of technical work.
so there's no integration class.
No, no. No outbound integration is only like inbound integration. And no, I don't teach outbound. No. So it is a purely functional class.
Hey, Nikhil, sorry, quick question. So what are part of technical, what is a technical consultant?
Technical consultants will be specifically working on integrating Workday with third-party systems.
Oh, so the more on the integration.
Yeah, more of an integration. You should have, again, if you want to become like a technical consultant, you should have good knowledge on reporting again, because you need to create reports in Workday, and then you will use that report to send data from Workday into a third-party system. And so most integrations you'll be creating reports, and then there will be XML Studio. There is Workday Studio, which you can use to do those integrations. So again, all that mumbo jumbo is part of integration. I I don't have a lot of experience in that particular space. And I'm sure there is another course if you specifically want to learn Workday integration. You can sign up for that.
So here in ZaranTech, I do see when I go to their website, right, I do see a lot of different courses, right?
Mm.
So for a basic foundational course plus something, do you think this course is right for those who are thinking like to not just have a basic knowledge but plus integration or plus something? So there are other courses also I see. So which one do you think is a good idea to
Again,
begin with?
it depends. So like someone who's from, like I heard someone is from recruiting space. So maybe recruiting will be a good model. The reason being, and it's good to stick with your domain if you have a specific domain, because uh, even though systems change, softwares change, the domain remains the same. And if you have domain knowledge, it will be very easy for you to follow things. If you're already from an HR background, a lot of things that I teach will be easy for you compared to someone who is not from the HR background. Now, don't worry if you're not from the HR background. I will be teaching you everything. However, for someone who is coming from an HR background, it will be easy for them. Similarly, if you are from a payroll background, it will be easy for you to understand payroll than teaching someone learning who is not from a payroll background, because they have to start with the absolute basic definitions. If you are going to learn Workday finance, someone who has finance background, and usually people who have finance background go into Workday finance. Someone who is a CA or already CPA certified people, they learn Workday Finance. So because for them it is very easy to understand and pick up things in Workday Finance rather than someone who don't have that particular background. So it depends upon what you would like to do. There is no good module, no bad module. All modules are implemented by different clients. Some modules are more commonly implemented, like compensation is very commonly implemented. There are a lot of companies that use Workday's time and absence module. That is very highly sought out module. If you are a good time and absence consultant, then you have good opportunities in that regard as well. But for regardless of which module you want to pick up, like from an advanced level, you should have the Workday foundation knowledge. So without Workday foundation knowledge, you will not be able to get started into any advanced module. So
So,
yeah,
let's say if I want to join an integration training, Workday integration training by ZaranTech. So, are they going to cover HCM, or I have to take separately this course?
I'm not sure about that. You can check with someone in ZaranTech.
Please reach out to your salesperson. He'll help you out regarding this one. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikhil. You have answered very good.
All right, guys. Any other questions?
Nikhil, can you briefly discuss about the job readiness part of this curriculum?
Well, okay, sure. So the job readiness is again, how to prepare your resume, how to prepare your introduction. So I'm sure none of you will be going into market as the absolute freshers. Everyone might, most probably, every one of you will be saying that at least you are 2-3 years of experience, so that clients will at least consider your resume for interview. So how to prepare your introduction, how to write your resume, how to answer questions. I will give you some of the interview questions, and again, I will be discussing those interview questions throughout the course. You can start noting down those questions. Additionally, I will also specifically talk about what kind of interview questions you will expect and how to answer those questions. Um, then there is a lot of resources on how to create LinkedIn account and how to have a good LinkedIn presence, because nowadays a lot of job opportunities like traditional hiring, like you put it in a portal and then recruiters calling you from portal. Nowadays it's all LinkedIn. So how to improve your LinkedIn profile. Those kind of things will be discussed specifically in job readiness. I usually focus on the resume creation part, the interview preparation, introduction part, the interview question part. The rest of the things, I don't focus in the sense. I mean, I don't really focus a lot on those. I will brush up on those topics because you have cheat sheets. If you want to use them, you can go ahead and use it because you have the cheat sheet, you can follow it, and there are like a ton of YouTube videos out there which you can use to set up a good LinkedIn profile. So not necessarily for me to teach it specifically, but if you need help or you already have a lot of cheat sheets and links over here which you can use. Irfan, can you just scroll down a little? Yeah, more. And again, discussing about workday career path and all. So I will be touching upon all these topics. You have a lot of sample resumes. I will also give you a list of sample resumes which you can use. I have a lot of sample resumes, like 40, 50 of them. So I'll send it all to you as well. You can go through those resumes and you'll understand you'll see a general structure once you start reviewing those resumes, and then you can prepare your own resume as well. So yeah, that is what specifically in terms of job readiness I will be discussing. But a lot of things are like self-study resources over here if you look into it. Inzamam, you have a question?
Yeah, Nikhil. So in a general sense, what you're saying is the core HCM is what we're going to teach, and then for us to go to advanced level, you'll touch on it, but basically we'll have to look for further training on that, right? So for us to focus on more on like other
Yeah,
modules.
because see, in this Unit 5 compensation, you have these six things, six topics which I will be teaching. But if you have to learn it in like in depth, you have like a 30 hours of course specifically focused on compensation.
Got it.
If you want to learn recruiting, you have to take a very detailed course where I will specifically teach recruitment. So those are like advanced courses. All right. We are already at the top of the hour, so if you don't have any other questions, I will. Irfan will show you around the LMS, and I will see you guys on Monday, or maybe on Tuesday.